Hi everybody, it's Christina from Adventures in Polished Land, and today I'm excited to share with you my 5 reading goals for 2026. I have already talked about my main reading goal pretty extensively here on my channel. I made an entire video talking about it, and that is the American Lit Reading Challenge, where I am going to read a book set in every single US state and territory. And if you want to learn more about my challenge, I will leave that video where I introduce it linked in the description box below. But essentially, my goal in doing this challenge is really to learn and celebrate the vast diversity of different cultures and different voices here in the United States. So I have already started this challenge. I am having a great time and I am really excited to continue with it. And I am using this primary goal to further one of my other goals. And that goal is to read from my library list and to use my library more. So whenever I hear about a book that sounds interesting to me, I will log into my library account and save that book to a books to read list, but I'm not always the best about going back and actually reading all of those books that I saved. So I have gone through that list, tried to find the setting for all of those books, and throughout the year, as I do my American Lit Reading Challenge, I am going to read the books that I have saved to my library list and also in turn use my library more. So those goals go hand in hand. I am also setting myself a goal on Goodreads this year, which is once again to read 100 books. That was my goal in 2025. I didn't quite get there, but I still want to be one of those people who read 100 books in a year. So I am going to keep striving for that until I accomplish it. And I think I can. This year, I am really making a move to stay off my phone as much as possible and focus on creative hobbies. I am calling it create more, scroll less. So hopefully I can scroll a lot less this year and spend more time with my nose in a book and be able to reach that 100 book goal. That would be really exciting. My 4th goal is to read a book in Spanish. I studied Spanish in school starting in 7th grade and going all the way through college, but I haven't studied it really since then. I did do Duolingo here and there for a little while, but I would really like to go back, read a book in Spanish so I can practice the Spanish language again. And I am still deciding how I want to do this. I think it would be best if I found a book that was published in Spanish originally and read that book rather than finding a book that is translated into Spanish. I think that would just be more authentic. But I also am deciding what type of book I want to read. Should I go with a children's book that would be easier? Should I find maybe a YA book that would be a little more complex but still understandable? Or should I just read a popular Spanish book? I haven't quite decided, but I am hoping to do this throughout the year, find a book and read it in Spanish. That would be really exciting and I think very beneficial to keeping up my Spanish skills. Then my 5th and final goal is a little bit more fluid. I don't really have set parameters surrounding this goal, but it is to continue exploring indie publishers, specifically Europa Editions, NYRB, the New York Review of Books, and more. So what I've been doing is in 2025, I decided partway through the year that I was going to focus on Europa and NYRB, and I have been keeping track of all of the books from those publishers that I read so that once I hit about 20 books, I am going to do an indie publisher spotlight video where I share with you the books that I read from that publisher, what I like about them, what I dislike about them, what my average rating for that publisher was, and whether I continue to focus on that publisher going forward. And I would love to complete both the Europa and NYRB projects this year and then maybe move on to some other indie publishers that I am not familiar with yet. So if you have any independent publishers that you enjoy their books, I would be looking for something that's mainly literary fiction based, but other than that, I'm pretty open. Let me know in the comments because I certainly want to keep my eyes out at the used bookstores for these independent publishers. And I know there are so many out there, but it can be difficult to find their books in the wild. those are my 5 reading goals for 2026. They are a little bit more fluid than last year, but I think I have made some really great reading habits over the last couple years that I'm just going to naturally keep up. Just to wrap up quickly, my first goal, my main goal for the year, is to complete the American Lit Reading Challenge. My second goal is to read books from my library list and support my library more. Then I want to read 100 books in a year. I want to read a book in Spanish, and I want to continue exploring independent publishers. And of course, participating in all of these reading goals will certainly help me accomplish my main resolution for 2026, which is to stay off my phone as much as possible. I am just staring at a screen for more hours of the day than I should be, both at work and at home, and I hope to separate myself from that a little bit moving forward. I would love to know in the comments what your reading goals are for 2026. I would love to know how many books you want to read and if there are other challenges that you are participating in. And let's get started with 2026 on the right foot. I hope 2026 will be a great reading year for all of us, and I will cheer you on with your resolutions in the comments below. Bye.